Hey guys, this is Melody, and today we're here with another Scrawlrbox. Excuse my voice if it sounds a little bit wonky. I've been sick and I have a cough, and I'm actually going to the doctor in probably the next half hour, but I figured I would record this voiceover while I'm just sitting around at home. So yeah, let's get into it. This is actually February's box, but it took me forever to open because I got the box around the time that I was working on my cosplay, and I really just wanted to finish all of that up. Sorry there's no sound or anything from when I was doing this because my cough was really bad while I was opening the box, and I was also watching other YouTubers while opening it and filming all this. This candy was actually really good. It was, I think, like a strawberry flavored. It was almost like a taffy sort of situation, I guess is the best way to describe it, but I enjoyed it. So let's get into the actual supplies for this one. As you can see, this eraser just kind of fell out, and that does go to a pencil that's in here, or at least I'm assuming it was meant to go on the pencil. So what I liked about this box is that I actually got 2 stickers, and I've been really into stickers lately because I've been looking into printing my own. If you have not already seen them, go check out my Etsy shop. I'm sure they'll appear in a vlog or something. Because I was sick all weekend, I did not do a vlog, so there'll probably be a 5 a.m. morning routine this Sunday versus a normal vlog. Yeah, so back to the box. These markers that they gave were called well, they're Brush Marker Pros. I don't really know what else to say about that. The liner is art line. It is 0.3. The pencil, it's just a normal HB pencil. Really nothing that exciting about it. Then they gave us this Spectrum Noir brush pen, and I actually really enjoyed using this. And then they gave us these markers, which, I mean, they're just, I don't know what to say about them. Not my favorite thing in the world, but, you know, it's cool. And then I disappeared for a moment because I was making apple cider, so I had something to drink. So of course the first thing I had to do was swatch everything and put these stickers in my sketchbook. Yes, this is the sketchbook that I said I wanted to finish in February. Obviously that did not happen. Maybe I'll finish this month? I don't know. I still have 14 pages left, so we will see. I like to label my swatches just so I kind of know what I'm using. That was not supposed to happen, but you had to squeeze in order to get this ink or whatever it is to come out. It says it's like tinted water or something on the side. It says aqua tint. So I'm assuming it's just, you know, ink and water. But when I pressed it, it just kind of exploded on the paper. So that happened. And then if you read the description, it says that you should be able to use the blender to kind of blend out the markers. And then I had the idea of touching it to the tip. I think it actually said that on the paper, but I know there's other markers that you can do that with. But it kind of bothers me because then you get the pigment all over the tip. Anyway, it did work. Blending it didn't really work, but that came down to more just the paper in my sketchbook versus the actual markers. So I tried again here with using just water because it said on the paper that they gave us that they are water-based. So I figured I would see what happened there. Again, it didn't work too well on this paper, but when I do it later on the actual paper they gave me, it worked really well. And this is the point at which I reconsider swatching things in my sketchbook. Sorry, I write a little bit off screen here. But the thing is, they give us this nice paper, so I technically could use one for swatches and stuff and see what it actually is going to act like on the paper, but I don't want to do that because it's nice paper and I want to actually use it. So yeah, I mean, it comes down to, do I want to waste one of these papers on swatches, or do I want to not get super true swatches and use it on different paper? I don't know. So the theme for this month was plumage, And the first thing that came to mind was a peacock. So at first I thought maybe I could just do a couple feathers, and then I thought, why not just draw a peacock? This is a purple peacock. I don't know if those actually exist, but it's just kind of what happened. The first thing I did was the background with the Spectrum Noir. I really enjoy this, and I think it's because it's just such a light color. It's easy to get a wash in the back that's not super dark, and I end up using watercolor brushes and water a lot in this piece with the markers, which I don't know if it's technically cheating because it didn't come in the box, but it does say on the paper that they're water soluble and you can use water to make the pigment go farther. So I did, and I think it turns out really pretty, especially like this area. I don't know, I really like this effect. And I've done this before on markers that were water soluble, but they weren't necessarily intended to be used that way, like these ones were. And here, what I did is I added extra water and then put a little more pigment down to kind of make it fan out into the new water that's there and just make that area a little bit darker. But what I did notice is that with this paper, the water doesn't soak in really fast. It kind of lays on top for a while. I don't know that the paper was necessarily meant to be used with a lot of water, so that could be why, but it did make it a little bit difficult to blend at times. Here I made the mistake of allowing some of the purple pigment to go into the beak, but you know, you can't be perfect. And then here I wanted to be able to use some of the green, so I did the same thing, and I wasn't sure how this was going to work, if I was going to be able to keep them separate yet blend them without it looking muddy. And here I think it turned okay, but later, yeah, you'll see what happens. Honestly though, if I'm grading this box, I do have to say it is one of my favorite boxes and very well timed, honestly, because I'm kind of starting to get more into doing watercolors, and though this is a marker with water and paint, it is a similar kind of thing. So it really played into my interests and what I've been trying to get more into. And also my mom commissioned me to do a couple watercolor pieces for her, so I've been wanting to practice some techniques, and this allowed me to do a little bit, though obviously, you know, using the marker is different than just plain watercolors. But it was a lot of fun to use, and I recently bought myself some new paint brushes, so it was fun to be able to use those and kind of get a handle on how they worked. Just because I've never really had nice watercolor brushes. I've always just had the really cheap ones that you can buy from Michael's. So I splurged a little bit and got some nicer ones and some bigger ones, because for the piece I'm doing for my mom, it's quite large and using tiny brushes would get frustrating and it would be really hard to do a wash. So I didn't break out the really big ones just because this paper's kind of small, but I did break out my newer ones. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to get the effect of the feathers, how they have that kind of like eyeballish looking shape, and this is where it starts getting kind of weird and a little bit muddy, and like, I don't know, I wanted to incorporate more purple into the whole rest of it because it seems like there's just an abrupt end to the purple on the left, and I wanted it to have more feather looks, so I, you know, put a little bit of green, tried to kind of feather out, and this, I believe, is when I started adding more purple. But first I tried to blend a little bit more. I really don't like blending markers. I just like have never been able to use them the way they're meant to be used and have it turn out properly. So here I wanted to line everything. Unfortunately the beak was still a little bit wet. Like I said, the water tends to just kind of stay on the surface for a while and it takes a while for it to dry, and I'm not the most patient person, so going in with the pen, it was okay on the top here, but I needed to wait for the bottom to dry a bit. I did really like this pen though. There's not a whole lot to say. I mean, it is just a liner, but it is water soluble, so, or at least it seemed to be, because when I did it on the wet paint, it kind of splayed out a little bit, so be careful of that. Make sure if you're using it on watercolors that everything's completely dry or it's going to look a little bit weird. So this is what I was talking about, where I started adding the purple and it kind of got a little bit muddy, and then later I go in with the pen but my laptop's complaining that I don't have a lot of storage space, so we cut that part out, and you'll see what it turned out in the last little clip. I think it turned out okay considering I've never used these pens before, but let me know what you guys think in the comments, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more Scrawlrbox videos. I love doing them, it's fun to try new mediums, and I'll see you guys in the next one.